presented by
Wait, do it one more time. Just that last part.
Presented by
Presented by Brooks Running. Here's shutdown. We're super excited. Obviously, we're at a Brooks sponsored event today, but more big picture stuff. We are partnering up long term. The podcast is now presented by Brooks going forward. So we're really excited about that. And we couldn't think of a better place to announce it. And we
If you're regular listeners to the pod, you're really good at sound effects, but we've never been able to do this before.
They've given us too much to work with. Like, this is way too pro for us to saw go wrong. So expect a lot of errors today. Completely unprofessional, but we love what everything around us looks like. We're going to do our best with this platform.
Yeah, we are. We're going to try to make you guys all proud. Okay, Des, you came in yesterday. You took in the races last night. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm excited to be in Eugene, which is something I don't say often. Everyone complains about, I'm it's in Eugene again, and then you get here, you're put on a pontoon at the Runnerspace House. And like, man, they kind of do it right here. They take this running thing pretty seriously. So I'm excited to be here. The races are amazing. I drove down from Charlevoix. I guess it was Thursday night, and I had like my phone on. I was super car sick watching the races, but I was like watching them all, and then we had the audio connected, so Ryan was listening to them all. Great stuff, great racing. I just think the men's 800 rounds and then the men's 5,000. So I got some catching up to do, but yesterday made up for it. The women's 15 was wild. How you feeling about it?
I can't believe that all the favorites got through. Like that first semifinal, one of my coworkers, Otto, calls it the semifinal of death, when one is so stacked against the other one. And sometimes when that happens, nerves get in the way, people think they can kick everyone. Just it changes the dynamic of the race. They all ran like a final, they all got through. And then I thought that the second semi, since it was not quite as deep, I thought they would kind of jog and kick and save their legs for the final, but they were like, oh no, you can do that too. And they ran 4:02. So it was crazy.
Yeah, those times for semis are unreal.
Yeah,
right?
but your favorite question was what was asked of everyone after the race.
Yeah.
Oh, for a semi, that was fast. Like, what do you think it's going to take to win the final? But they were really fast. I feel like the men have sort of shifted to this model of really taking the semis hard, and the women have been a little bit more strategic, but now it seems like the women are just running it like a final too.
Well, secondly, I mean, that second heat especially, I'll never understand that when they do jog and they're like, oh, well, I'll just kick. I'm like, you know the time you have to beat. Like, if you're not confident in your kick, which every 1,500 meters, like, I have the best kick.
Oh, yeah.
And then they're on the outside watching the final, they're like, oh, I wish I had done that differently. Like, just go into it, get the time, like, put it all in your own hands, right?
Yeah, but Cranny was the one that took it, and Cranny already has 2 rounds of the 5,000 in her legs, so I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of hoping for a rematch of Cranny versus St. Pierre in the final tomorrow, down the final 50. But there's so many women that deserve to be on that team, so it got interesting.
But it's not about who deserves it, right?
Wait, what?
Like, it's not about who deserves it. Everyone deserves it. It's like,
true. I just think it's, wow, we are popping balloons out
popping
here.
off.
I just think that it is so deep. I think when we were looking at the men's race, we were thinking like, okay, it's going to be Nagoose and maybe Hucker can outkick him. And if Hobbs Kessler runs smart, he'll be third. But it really is a blanket finish for the women. Like, I can't pick one person over another.
You know what it reminds me of?
What?
The women's 8.
Ooh!
Where you're like, it's just so crowded, anything can happen.
Yeah.
And then fireworks.
That's why I think it's going to be really fast. Well played. That's why I do think it will be really fast, because I think people saw the 8. We've been hearing athletes in the mixed zone talk about seeing the 800 and seeing the fall. And I think that it'll be very aggressive from the beginning, because I think they just want to string it out as soon as possible.
I'm going to shift a little bit from the races and ask you about the fall and some of the aftermath, the conversation's been like, well, maybe we should have a discretionary slot. Maybe we should change the way the trials are run. Maybe we should yada, yada, yada. I think I kind of put my tone in there, what I think about it. What do you think about that?
I think that's just dumb. I just think the trials are the trials. And look, if we're going to talk specifically about the women's 800, a woman has fallen in the final of the last 4 Olympic trials finals. Brenda Martinez fell in 2012, had an epic comeback to make the team in the 1500, but that was not her event. Her event was the 800. She was coming off a medal at the World Champs. In 2016, Alicia Montano fell in the final. In 2021, Nia Akins fell in the final. So I don't know why we're starting this conversation now. I feel really bad for Thingmo, but it's the only fair way to pick a team. As soon as you have a discretionary spot, it becomes political and it becomes about, it's just messy. And we've, as a country, we've been able to escape that. And I think that's how it should be. It's the only fair way to do it.
Did you keep up with the Australian marathoning selection process at all?
No, fill me in.
There was a little bit of that as well. It's like, you know, a handful of women that have matched up a bunch of times. I think they went with basically the fastest on paper. It's like the other woman, I can't remember the names. I should have looked this up first. But it was like the other woman was like, well, I've beaten her head to head like 3 out of the last 5 times we've raced. So it eventually like went into a legal thing. And she finally dropped the case because she was like, I just can't afford to take this all the way to maybe not make the team anyhow. So yeah, that's the sort of stuff that's on the line where you're like, let's just solve it with a race, right? Like it seems so easy.
And I mean, there's heartbreak in other events other than the 800. You know, the favorites and a lot of the women in the throws haven't made it through. There was a no height in the pole vault. So it's not like it's unique to this one event. And when I was growing up, who is old enough to remember the battle between Dan and Dave in the decathlon? I mean, was that not like the most amazing hyped rivalry? And remember, Dan O'Brien no-heighted in the pole vault. So it's not like that's the first time it's happened. But I think what makes the U.S. trial special is that you have to show up on that day. Everybody knows what day it is. And you got to knock it out of the park. And unfortunately, things happen. But also, I just don't like how this conversation is taken away from 3 women that earn their spots on that team.
Oh, 100%. That's worth a clap for sure.
Yeah. And fireworks. It's worth fireworks, too.
Yeah, I think we were talking about it a little yesterday. It was a bummer that there was a fall, and you feel bad for a thing. I think she was going to be beaten anyhow. I think Nia was going to beat her, and I think that is an opportunity that got taken away from Nia as well, where she could have answered a lot of questions and made an even bigger statement.
Yeah, I mean, Nia looked unstoppable that day, right? So, but I just think it just takes away even from Allie and Juliet too. I mean, they earned their spots. They charged down that final 100. So, and this is like, we love a Thingmo. Who doesn't love a Thingmo? She's actually gorgeous to watch run, but it's just too bad where the conversation's gone. And anyway, we just want to say, don't change it.
Don't change.
Don't change.
Don't change. You've changed. Don't change.
Never change, Dad. How many people had that written in their yearbooks in high school? Never change. I did. I think I've changed though. Sorry.
Maybe we can get a trials yearbook with all the athletes that competed, and we can write "Don't change."
Never change. All right. What about that women's steeple?
Crazy. Yeah. Well, hold on. I do agree that the top 3 and the 8 didn't get the cheer they deserve. So let's just do a really loud cheer for those 3 people who made the team. Let's go.
Allie Wilson, Juliet Whitaker, Nia Akins. That was nice.
Yeah, necessary. The women's steeple was crazy. I think I said that a lot of people were like, this is one of the most boring races or like least exciting races of the trials. And sure enough, it was crazy.
It was crazy. I mean, I just feel like this generation of steeplechasers, they came up through the sport with a high bar, right? Like they watched Emma Coburn win a bronze medal at the Olympics and win the world championship. They saw Courtney Frerichs get a silver at the world championship and then win silver in Tokyo. And so I feel like this generation is benefiting from the paving that they did for them. And just they don't have limits. You know, like I came up through the 10,000 where it was like, no American can get on the podium. No, you know, this is totally different event. And I think that it's horrible that Emma and Courtney were injured, but I think it let people really step into the limelight. You know, I think sometimes they raced with like, well, they're going to be the top two and we're really just fighting for third. And it opened up this opportunity to have a race and that they all had to step into. And I did think that the trials record of 9:09 was going to go down just because every woman that was interviewed was like, it's going to take sub 9:10 to make this team. And they were right. I mean, 9:03 for Val Constein, third fastest time by an American ever. Yeah. Courtney Wayment coming through clutch like she does. And Marissa Howard at 31 with a 15-second PR when it matters most. So
A lot of people were so surprised by that. And honestly, it didn't, I mean, I guess you have to have like a long-term view of it, but she was fighting that same way at the last trials and finished 5th. And in that round, the first round, she looked exactly the same, like she hadn't missed a beat. There's obviously a lot of space between there where you're like, I don't know what she's up to. I don't know if she's healthy. But when I saw her run the prelim, I was like, oh, she looks like she's been waiting for this for 3 years. And now it's like she knows exactly what to do. I hate to even say this, but those times, like, that was crazy. I don't know if you know what time it takes to make the steeple now. Like, I'm so sick of that. But when I saw those, I was like, wow, what a race for her. And she just went with it. They weren't looking at the clock. It was a product of racing.
And I think that was the beauty of it, right? Like they had eliminated, again, like thinking they were running for third, and then they weren't paying attention. They were just racing each other. And I did feel bad for Markovic Olivia, who fell, kind of stumbled awkwardly off the water jump. And then she was trying to move wide on that final barrier to try to pass on the outside and fell. Like that was hard to see. I felt bad for her. You know, like we've already talked about it. It's okay to not make the team. You just want someone to have their best shot at it. But
I mean, I think that it doesn't make it any easier, but it's something, I guess, for her when she evaluates why she fell. Like she cleared the barrier fine, and it was just like jello legs, you know? Like that's like I've left my entire race. Like if this were the finish line, I'm on the team, but 3 steps late, like I just miscalculated my energy levels. But you know, that's a great race to run where you go, okay, like I
you left it all
out there, right?
Have you ever run a steeple?
Hell no. No. Every time I see Billy Nelson do well in the steeple, like I'm like, oh man, I have no excuse.
He's about your height.
I know.
Olympian, 2008. Yeah, it's a wild event.
Did you do steeple?
No. So my senior year of college was when the steeple started in the NCAA. And my coach, Mark Wetmore, said, you're super athletic. I think you should run it and set the American record and then just say, no thanks. And I did one steeple workout and he goes, well, I can't be good at everything. That was it.
That's surprising with your dance background. I
closed my eyes every time I jumped over the barrier. I was so scared. It was not for me, not an event for me, no way.
They didn't let me near them. They're like, no.
You're done. Yeah. All right. What do we got coming up? We have 3 finals. We have 2 on Sunday. Well, distance finals. We obviously have more than that. There's 800 men's final. Well,
can we just talk about why you don't call the 800s? Do you wish you were, or do you not care? What's the conversation like around those?
I get to call them here and there in the regular season. I wish I called it. I actually passed notes, like I think Sonia Nada would admit it. I passed some notes on the different athletes. I love the 800. I wasn't particularly good at it. I think my best time was 2:06 high, but I really like it. I think it's so much storytelling in such a short time, and so much drama in such a short time. And you have to be so strong, but you also have to have the speed. And I just really love the event. I do wish that I called it. Basically what happened was that when Donovan Brazier won the world champs in 2019, Otto was like, I'm calling that. And then when the thing Mo broke through, Sonia's like, I'm calling that. And so I just have to watch.
They've been around a little longer. I suppose.
They have a little bit more seniority than me, so I don't call it, but I do wish I did, yeah.
Yeah, it's an exciting event, and I think the women's team, amazing. The men coming up. Yesterday's rounds were wild.
They were wild.
They were really fun. Some surprises. What'd you think? Tell me what you saw.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Bryce Hoppel just has looked good all year. I feel like we've talked about this, but last year Lewis Johnson, who I love, was the nicest guy, was so hard on him at World Champs. He said, the women are running so great in America. What is up with the men? You know,
What's wrong with you, Bryce?
Yeah, basically like kick him when he's down a little bit. But he, said in that interview, I take it upon myself. Like I want to bring American just like 800-meter running back. And he switched the way he trained. He went up to altitude. He challenged himself with other people, and he won the world indoor 800-meter title this year. So I just feel like he's really put this on his back and is delivering. I thought he looked good. I was bummed for Isaiah Harris, who didn't make it through. But I was really impressed by Hobbs Kessler.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a 2-second PR, I think.
He looks great. Like, he looks
Yeah.
like he's just grown up. And honestly, I think training with Hoppel's huge, right? Like, he watches Hoppel go and he's like, I can run with that guy. I beat him in practice all the time.
And, now that he already made the team in the 1500, like, those are the guys that are dangerous, or the athletes that are dangerous. They're like, well, I got nothing to lose and everything to gain, right?
Yeah.
I'm already on the team. Now this is just gravy. So I've been impressed by how he's looked.
And Miller. Brooks
Mhm.
Man Miller.
Yeah, he ran fast.
Brandon
Super fast last
Checkstar. Yeah, he looks great. Like, he looks so smooth. And just, I think it was kind of funny that he surprised himself with that
Yeah.
time. He was like, which is exciting, a little terrifying, but I think he's reached a new level. So I think it'll be really fun to watch him in the final. Has some experience from last time out. So
Yeah, that'll be a great final. I think it's going to be fast. I think I saw a bunch of their post-race interviews too, and I think everyone's been talking about the women's race and how it sort of changed the tone, and people don't want to mess around. They don't want to get caught up in anything. So that's going to be good on Sunday.
all right, don't miss it.
Don't
Be there.
miss it.
Be there.
Be there or watch it on NBC.
All right, what else do we got?
Let's wait on the 10 because that's tonight. We can talk about that last.
Yeah.
So also on Sunday will be the women's 1500-meter
Okay.
final, which we already talked about a little bit, but
Yeah.
just chaos. And then we have the men's 5,000-meter final, which just got a lot more interesting to me.
Tell me what you saw in the rounds, because I didn't get to watch that. I just scrolled through the results really quickly. I'm looking at the results. I'm not like texting my friends.
We had one review. I'm just going to say it.
Do it. It's fine.
We had a review where someone said they were a little disappointed that we hadn't done our homework. Like, we're both broadcasters and we should know who these people are. And it really, really bothered Des. Like, she was annoyed by it a little bit. And we felt like, we only talked about certain things because you guys asked us to talk about it. We're not experts on everything. I know you think we are, but we're actually not. And so we do our best. And so now I feel like you're panicking looking up the results, but trust me, you know the players.
Yeah, no, I think that was like, we didn't do our homework was basically what the statement was. And I was like, no, I definitely didn't do the homework because I didn't watch that race because I didn't want to watch it.
And we talked about how we didn't watch it.
And then a lot of people were like, are you going to talk about it, right? You're going to talk about it, right? And I'm like, shoot, we should talk about it. But it's really hard to talk about something you didn't watch and do it and talk about it well. So
Yeah. I mean,
lesson learned.
we admitted we hadn't seen
Yeah.
it, just to be fair. So what I'm excited about is we get the 10,000 meter champion coming down to 5,000. We have the 1,500 meter champion stepping up to 5,000.
Who do you think it favors?
It totally depends on how the race is run. If Grant Fisher goes and presses it at 13-minute pace, then that takes the sting out of a lot of people because they're already tired. They have so many rounds in their legs. That takes the sting out of a Kincaid or a Hawker. But if they play cat and mouse at all, then Kincaid and Hawker are like, thank you.
Yeah. I mean, I think Hawker has talked about how much more strength he has right now and how much he's like kind of been training like a 5K guy anyhow. So it might be the perfect race for him.
Yeah, long term, maybe. I've just been impressed with him. Every interview he's done, he'll answer like 2 questions and he's like, thank you, I gotta go. He's so focused and so zeroed in. And I just remember when he made the team 3 years ago and he was like, shushy, Matt Sensuitz, and he was a little flashy.
Yeah.
And it's cool to see him. I hate saying this, it's such a mom thing to say, but I am a mom. He's matured. I'm waiting for Colt to mature. And it's cool to see someone like realize that they have a lot of talent and to really take that seriously.
Is it the parenting that holds it back and slows the process, or what's the deal?
No, it does. It's hormones.
Okay. Fair enough.
So yeah, that'll be really good. That's on Sunday.
And then
Who else is a player in that? Who else do we got?
well,
gotta be more than
Abdi
that.
Nur is the reigning champion, defending champion from last year.
Morgan Beatlescombe is my guy.
You
No
Des
one's been talking
cannot
about
love
him.
Morgan Beatlescombe
No one's been
enough.
talking about him.
She thinks he's like the greatest, and I saw him cooling down after the semi, and I'm like, "Good job, Morgan!" And I wanted to say from Des, but I thought that's so weird. Like he doesn't even know who I am, and I'm shouting him out for Des. But Des is a huge
And look,
Beatlescombe
his
fan.
teammates are running great.
Yeah.
Right? They're ready.
He trains
They're-
with Hobbs, and he trains with
Hopple.
Hopple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him with those guys. I don't know if maybe he's been a little dinged up, a little nicked up. Came in as knocked up.
This has been your guy
I
since
know.
you started talking.
I know.
about
I'm getting nervous now, but he's fine. He's got the standard. He's been quiet.
He has been quiet, and he ran the semi so clean.
Okay.
He didn't lead, but he was never further back than third or fourth.
That's what I'm trying to get at you.
Yeah.
Like the insider information.
Yeah, he was on the rail the whole time.
Just, like,
he
fell
was just
asleep.
like, I'm not here to.
Yeah.
I don't even want attention. I'm just going to get through.
That seems to be his MO, and I think that maybe he'll get some attention.
I
during that
love
final.
Dez's. So Des was so confident on him and Nia.
Yeah.
She was like, Nia's winning the whole time. I'm like, it's kind of wide open. She's like, for second and third. She was so confident in Nia that she was going to win the 800. So you nailed that
when
one.
you know, you know.
That's right.
Breaking. Des is confident in Beatlescombe. Okay, what else? What else do we got? Do you want to talk about any sprints?
Sure.
We don't have to.
No, we could. I think the 200 women's is going to be pretty good because
Ooh, yeah.
Sha'Carri Richardson looked really good last night, and then
Gabby Thomas.
Gabby
was no
Thomas was like,
slouch.
hi, remember me?
Yeah.
I'm the star of the 200, so that's going to be really good. And
That
I
would be
think in the
good.
men's too as well. I mean, Noah Lyles is. I don't know why I'm
playing
laughing.
cards.
Noah Lyles, and like his
Because I
his
clown him all
showmanship-
the time.
his showmanship. It's like I cannot put this guy down. Like he does so much for the sport. He delivers. But I'm like at the beginning of the 100, I was like, dude, you almost took yourself out of the race by your showmanship running down. Like you almost busted his ankle. And so it's like I was so nervous for him. So it's like we never know what we're gonna get. Noah's walking around like Hayward Field is his backyard. I think he is so confident, and I think he does get in the head of everybody else, even if it's just by annoying them. That it's like he's gonna be hard to beat. But then Kenny Bednarek is like, this is
Yeah.
I'm right here, and this is my better event, and we see Knighton kind of coming around, which is also interesting.
That's a whole other episode.
Yeah, that's another episode. We'll talk about that later.
What about Coleman? Any shot?
Well, I thought
can't
he looked
lose
pretty
the
good.
100, but he's like, I need to make a team.
Yeah, so
Like,
I
he's
thought he
hungry.
looked good yesterday. He got run down, but by Noah, I guess, or he hung. But I'm not an expert on sprints, and I'm told no.
Yeah,
He's
he's
the
generally
60-meter champion for a reason.
struggles late in the hundreds. So
Yeah.
it was almost weird to see him look.
Look good.
Yeah, but I
200.
think like he's pissed off, right?
Yeah,
Which makes you do crazy things, like
running
you
on
can-
hate, man.
Yeah,
Can take
exactly.
you pretty far.
Well, yeah. So that'll be interesting to see if he can mix it up. I have this like scenario where I want to see some of the cards fly out of Lyles's jersey.
I mean, where are they tucked now? He took them out of the bib.
They're like in his like because he's putting together like a super
I can't.
creature. So he's got the arms. He's building it, and he's been running with the arms.
I want to get it. I
No, I
want
know.
to get it.
This
I
is me
just
trying
don't.
to learn, and then
Okay.
he brought the legs. So now he's got a card in each leg, and then there's a head to complete the thing.
Is there like
So
a
I don't know
heart?
if he's gonna do it like I'm in his chest, but I want it like yard sale. Like he's running so fast that those things just like go
Yeah.
flying out.
That'd be
And then there's
awesome.
this moment where he's like, "My cards." Like, do I get them or do I keep? And like he has to make a decision, and we learned whether the cards are more important or the race is more important.
Oh my god, that's a night, right? I want to see those cards burst out at the finish line.
There go the cards. Oh.
I mean, it's going to be hard to beat. No, he's on the top of his game. He believes. He's got the cards. He's got the superpower.
He's having fun. I think he's enjoying it. He's doing his best for track and field. That's his personality. I like to poke fun of it, but no hate. He's
Well,
doing a
as
great
we
job.
always say, like, you can do whatever the hell you want when you show up and win everything.
Yeah, if you're winning, like I don't care.
Go crazy.
Yeah. Fair.
What about the 400 hurdles?
Yeah, I mean, Sydney's race was, it's, you want to watch because you just want to see what's possible, but it's not really a race, right?
It's really crazy to me because the U.S. women in the 400 hurdles are really good, just like as a country. And I hate that she makes everyone else look bad.
Yeah.
You know? And we know they're not bad. They're all, like, they're in the hunt for a medal if they make it. Like, the U.S. is always right there. It's like Jalila Muhammad, who's on the back end of her career, but there's always someone right there. Shmir Little medaled last year. But it's wild to watch them race her. It just feels...
It's like two different sports.
Yeah.
You're like, she doesn't have hurdles, right?
Right. It's so crazy.
Like, that's not fair. She's not even going over something.
What would
Like,
that be like to come through your career? Let's just say you're the same age as Sydney McLaughlin-Lerone, and you have to race her your entire career.
I mean, you're like Lashinda Demas, right?
Yeah.
You're like, I got to find a new event. If I want to be the best in the world, I mean, I guess it's Femke Bol.
Yeah.
We could ask her.
I'll ask her.
Like, what's
Hey,
that like?
What's
Nice
it like?
to meet you. What's it like being second best all the time?
Right, and she's the second best ever,
Yeah.
but it doesn't matter
Right.
because there's Sydney.
Just in the era of Sydney.
Yeah.
Do you think she could ever beat her? Like, what would it take?
I mean, I feel like Femke's doing everything she can. I follow her on Instagram. You guys should follow Femke Bol. She has this weight room stuff. It is crazy
No, I
what
don't
she
wanna
does.
see
It's wild. You would die. You cannot go work out with her. Neither can I. She does all this crazy stuff. It's so cool. And I just feel like she's so dedicated. She races a lot. I feel a little bit like she's, you know, their version of Noah Lyles. She shows up for every event. She runs a mixed relay. She runs a 4x4. She doesn't say no to anything. I just think she's great. But I feel like she's doing everything right, trying to close that gap. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing more to add there.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
said nay. On the men's side, I don't know it as well. Rai Benjamin is the favorite.
Yeah, he got a lot of love last night from Clara up there.
Wait, where is Trey?
Trey,
Is it CJ Allen? Okay, we should have Trey up here. Okay, but this is what I want to say. CJ Allen, who's trying to make the team in the 400 hurdles, I have the funniest story that everyone at Brooks will appreciate. So at Prefontaine, my sister brought her kids to watch, her high school kids to watch the race, and they saw Josh Kerr race, and then they were waiting around trying to get his autograph, and CJ Allen comes by, and they're all like, "Josh Kerr, will you give me your autograph?" And he was like, "I'm not Josh Kerr. I get it all the time." They look very, very similar, especially if you're not like a total track nerd like we are. Anyway, that's
a good
my
tip.
story.
Like if Kerr needs to save his legs, but you need him for a photo
Yes,
shoot,
send CJ out.
you got your guy. Like, we're just gonna blur your face a little bit, like because you're running so fast.
You're running so fast.
Yeah.
But CJ Allen like trains alone, right? He talks with. You're not paying attention, Trey. Jeez. He.
Did you turn it off?
I didn't. He keeps in touch with his coach long distance, but that's a lot of dedication.
Makes it work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, look, at a certain point, like if you need your coach holding your hand every day,
Right.
like why are you doing it? If you're not motivated and you can't get the work done,
Yeah.
like let's move on.
So, do you have a favorite in the women's 100 hurdles?
No, don't know it well enough.
Yeah.
Let's move
Who?
on. See, this is the thing. We'll
See,
start
this
to
is
talk
where
about
we'll
it,
get complaints.
and they'll be like, "Well, you didn't know her name." Like,
Yeah.
no, we weren't going to talk about sprints, and then I brought it up. Let's move on.
Okay.
Let's just.
Well, we did both watch Grant Holloway.
Yeah, that. I mean,
We love Holloway.
he's great. That was a good race.
I feel like he should be a bigger star.
I totally agree.
He's charismatic. He's funny. He's so consistent. So consistent. I'm like, how come his picture's not all over the place here?
That race was amazing. Like 3 guys under 13. That's just moving. I think he's another guy who's pushed the game just to a new level.
I was going to say, when you have Grant Holloway always there, you have to step it up, right? Like the expectation's just higher. So I feel like he's actually pulling the U.S. to those faster times.
And you go into the race, you're like, well, there's 2 Olympic spots.
Right.
you know? And I think it'll be interesting to see if that sort of steeple mentality with the top two, or, you know, the ones that were kind of propped up above everyone else, like when he's gone,
Right.
will you see a big explosion, or is it like we've lost our way without him?
I think we'll see an explosion.
I think so too.
Yeah. All right. Well, there's a final tonight.
Yeah, little prep for you.
And we raced each other in this final in
We did not
2008.
race each other. We were in the same race in the final.
Well, my heart is with the 10,000. That's the first event I ever made an Olympic team in. We have that race tonight. It's a little different this year. I feel like the women's 10,000 meter Olympic standard was completely unrealistic. Just putting it in line with all the other events, I feel like it was much harder. And also the opportunity to run the 10,000 has become so small.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah, it's like
where
there's
can
two
you race
10,000s
this?
in the year, and and they're early. So it's
Or-
like you got to be ready when everyone else is doing strength-based training.
Or you can
Or-
do NACAC.
You could do NACAC. That's true. You could do NACAC.
Or
get a-
cross country.
Or cross country. Kate Izzo got her.
Or, oh, you know what else is really interesting that I don't like at all is you can use the roads. So there's some like strange rules to it, but you can get points somehow. And I don't think roads or cross country, for that matter, are
they're not the
really
same as-
comparable to
No.
the 10K. So
I'm
just
worried.
give them more opportunities to run 10,000 meters.
I agree. I feel like the 10,000, they've talked about it. It's been on the chopping block for a while of like, why do we have it? And it's such an interesting event. I'm sorry. I know it's 25 laps, but there's so much storytelling that unfolds, how fast they're running. But yet you know there's going to be two races. There's going to be the race till we need to race. And it's just such an incredible race. I love it so, so much. And I just feel like we're losing it because we're not racing it enough. And we're saying, well, cross country can count or the roads can count. And I love cross country and I love the roads, but they're not the same sport. That's not the same sport.
Totally
So I just feel, I don't know, maybe I need to put on a 10,000. I feel like that's the solution here. I wish I hadn't said that out loud.
I like that idea.
But I just feel like it's such an awesome race and we don't see it. Nobody wants to put it on TV because it's long. I don't know, was anyone at Prefontaine and saw the world record in the women's 10,000? I mean, was that not entertaining? So it's just like we just have moved away from showing it and it's really disappointing. But it's going to be an awesome race tonight. I'm not in control of commercials. We have some. I'm not going to lie to you all. We're not going to show the whole thing completely uninterrupted, but we are going to show it. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see it.
What are you looking forward to? Who looks great? Who should be watching out for? Who's going to surprise? Give us the story that's so worth telling.
You know, it's interesting this year. I think Kaladi is the class of the field, but we haven't seen her race since where she ran the 5,000. It's a lot of emotion for her to run at Hayward because she first ran at Hayward in 2014 as a world junior, and she stayed. She claimed asylum here in the United States, and so in the past she's felt like she comes here and she doesn't run as well, but she finally feels like she's overcoming that. I really want her to have her Cinderella story. I want her to win and go to the Olympics and be able to represent her family. I just want this for her so bad. But I think that Parker Valby's in there.
How
And
dead are her legs right now?
I don't know how she's still running.
Oh, yeah.
I was doing the math. So before this meet started, she had raced 112.5 laps on this year outdoors.
Yeah.
That doesn't include indoors. And then she put in another 25 during the 5,000s. So she's at 137.5. God, I'm tired. I'm really tired. And I just can't believe that she's coming back with this 10. I have to say I don't follow the college scene that closely. Obviously, I was impressed with her runs throughout college, but the way she ran that 5,000 meter final was so impressive to me. She just went to the front. She's run 14:52.7, I think, and 14:52 flat was the standard, and she just hammered it. And she finished fourth, but she ran 14:51 point something and got the standard. And honestly, there's a good chance she's going to go, because the 5K 15 at the Olympics are tighter. There's no 2 rest days in between, so you finish the 5,000 meter final, and the very next day is your preliminary round in the 1,500. And for someone like Ellie St. Pierre, who has a better chance probably at medaling in the 1,500, that's a little bit of a gamble to double like that.
Yeah.
So that was a really long story to say. I think she's going to end up going anyway, but I have a feeling we're going to see her go hammer tonight.
Yeah, do you think she'll chase the standard? Is this just like, hey, this is what I do. I know everyone's going to sit on me. I'm fine with it. Or like, and what is Kaladi's incentive to go run the way she runs? Because typically she is someone who loves to go out and just push the pace. Does she have any incentive to do that? Or should she just be like, you won't see me till the last lap?
I don't think Kaladi is super confident in her kick. So I think she would probably like to open it up on everyone before that. I think if Parker Valby is willing to just grind it out, she's like, okay, I'll sit back here. I mean, look, people have asked me about the pros following Parker Valby, and I'm like, I would have done the exact same thing.
Thank you.
You're trying to make an Olympic team. All's fair here,
Yeah.
right? Like, the best strategy wins. So I think Valby will lead, and I think that's an opportunity. I don't know that they're going to run the standard here tonight. It's already warm. So I think that's a really tall order. I would never say Parker Valby can't do it because she is really, really good. But I think it'll be a little bit of a war of attrition. I think Schweitzer looks really, really good. Carissa, I think she answered a lot of questions in that 5,000. But I think there's a great crop of people right there behind her. Your girl, Jess McLean, has been looking good. And
That's allowed.
yeah, you can cheer. She was fourth at the marathon trials and then just started. She's qualified for the trials, I think, in the 10,000 before, but got injured and wasn't able to run. Yeah.
Great 10,000 meter runner. Her step into the marathon was just, let's just do this because it's my birthday and I want to get it in before 30, yada, yada. I think she's better on the track and had like room to get much better on the track, but just stepped into the marathon and was like, oh, I'm actually really great at this too. So
Yeah.
I think the strength and then staying healthy and stepping back down she's in a great spot.
Yeah. And then we saw Amanda Vestry. She ran really well at the New York Mini. She actually beat Jess there. So I think she'll be a factor. And Rachel Smith looks pretty good. I would never count her out. I don't know what she finished in the 5. I think she was about 9th, but she is a good, consistent athlete. And she's, at this point, even though she's so young, she's like a veteran, right? She's been here before. She's handled the pressure before, so.
And everyone, do you think that group that's kind of, I see them as folks who are trying to get second or third, like I'm trying to get on a team. I don't care about winning this. Do they go with the front and say, all right, this is the pace?
No, I wouldn't.
You let it go.
I would say you let that go because there's too much danger in blowing up, especially on a warm night. So I'd say if Valby wants to try to go tempo 30-40, I'll see you later. And I'm going to protect this position, stay in that second or third position and protect that. And that's what I would do. For me, it's too much of a gamble to blow up in weather conditions like this.
Yeah, I see 3 going in that group. And then it's like, do you protect?
You see Kaladi, Valby, and Schweitzer going. Yep. Yeah, you're right. It will be 3. What would you do? What'd you do in 08?
I jogged my pace. I do remember like watching Amy chase that standard and being
It was
like,
so awesome.
Like I should be focused a little bit more in front of me, but I'm like watching this scoreboard because it was so close.
Yeah, so flashback to 2008. My teammate that I trained with, Amy Yoder Begley, she did not have the standard in the 10,000. So the only people that had it were Shalane Flanagan, myself, and Katie McGregor. And so I knew, because I was teammates with Amy, I knew that she was going to take it and try to get the standard. And I told her, I have to be smart. I've never made a team, but I will take it with 1,200 to go if you're still there. And Katie McGregor let the 3 of us go. So Amy took it and she started pressing at the Olympic standard. And Katie McGregor rolled the dice and didn't go. And I took it with 1,200 and Shalane took it with 400. And Amy got it by like a second. And it was so freaking awesome because she made her own destiny. And there's a lot of backstory if you've read my book. Like our coaches were so rude to her. So it was one of those moments that I'll just never forget. Really like someone accomplishing something in spite of everyone around them working against them, It was awesome. It was the moment of the trials for me. But so there's a story in which it paid off to go for
Take the gamble, right?
Yeah, Katie,
And like
Katie
really
took the
just
gamble.
grabbing it and being like, hey, if I can do this, if I can run the standard pace and run with these top 3, then I've answered all the questions. If I can't, then I've got some other answers, I can go back to work. But I guess I just won't be surprised if someone lays off, runs patient smart, a lot like Jess did at the marathon trials,
Mhm.
and then has a lot of bodies just teed up like, okay, carrot, objective, and then all of a sudden is like, shit, I'm on the team.
Yeah.
So either way, but both are a gamble.
Yeah, both are a gamble. And you got to know what's right for you. I think it's risky to go for, I think it is a little more risky to go for the time tonight if you haven't been able to hit it in a paced effort, cool conditions.
It's a huge leap.
If I had an athlete, I'd be saying run for position, don't worry about time. But
Yeah.
I don't have an athlete. So do whatever you want, lady.
Go for it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to give a couple more athlete shout outs in the 10, and we have to get to the top 5 because you have stuff to do today.
Yeah. I'm
You
working.
have some things
I'm
to do
working
today.
here.
But before we go to that, I want to say Bricks athletes, Erica Kemp looks great. She's running really well. Yeah. Love it. Susanna Sullivan, we talked about her a little earlier. She's coming off some injuries, but finally putting it together, feeling good. A lot more exclamation points in her text, which is a great sign. Love that. So we're looking out for her. And then we have 3 Hanson's runners, Anne-Marie Blaney, Olivia Pratt, and Amy Davis, who always surprises. Amy Davis is really gritty. And those 3, I think, they'll be that group that's just moving like a freight train over the second half. They're just going to patiently, wait the first half and then catch a lot of bodies. So
You want to
surprise
come to the
folks.
booth tonight? I
Nope,
feel like
not
you're
at all.
better. You're more ready for this race than I
Not
am.
at all. But it'll be awesome. That's a final. Don't miss it. Get to the track. Cheer on the Bricks athletes. Wear the coral shirts because those are awesome.
Yeah. All right. We're getting there. So we're really excited. We're going to go into it, right?
Yeah, let me just put a cue out. We're going to do our top 5 now. This is Olipop top 5. Yeah, we're super excited to work with them. Thank you, Casey. Casey got us these peaches and cream.
I'm trying it.
Because I've been whining about this for a long time. I'm like, I can never find them. And he's
Try
like,
it.
I'll get it for you. So we're going to try them right now. Let's crack it and try it.
I'm not going to lie. I hate peach. Yep, that's peach. I want to like it so bad, but, I'm going to be me.
I'm a
Not
fan.
my
That's significantly better than the banana.
Dude,
The banana cream is like,
your hatred for the banana
It's
flavor
like
is like
a-
shocking to me.
it's as yellow as these balloons, but with some brown spots. That's the
It
banana
is
cream.
ripe banana.
Yeah. All right. So we are going to do our top 5. We're super excited about this. You want to start or do you want me to do it?
I'm just going to tee it up and say this is the most exciting top 5 we have ever had because our number 1 is here. So now I'm going to let Des take it away.
All right. Number 1, brand new Brooks Olympian, Nia Akins.
Don't
Her
fall.
legs are a little
Don't drop her
wobblier.
in the
She's
water.
been doing some racing. When I do the Olipop, I always do it in the Baby Shark tune. Olipop, do-do-do-do-do, Olipop, do-do-do-do. I feel like that's a good little ditty while she gets rode out here.
I'm giving it a second chance.
That's funny because I gave you that others, the ketones. They're peach too. They're very
Oh,
peach. But they're caffeinated, so that's good.
Nia. Yeah, she made it. Yay! All right, well, we have Nia here. We're gonna pass her the mic. But what was the first thing we wanted to ask her? Actually, first, just let's hear it for Nia, Olympic trials champion.
How are you feeling? I know that this was asked like right at the finish line, and I've chatted with you a few times before, and you're very thoughtful, very introspective, and I can feel like you're working through your answers. So when they were like, Nia, how are you feeling right now? And you just did an 800. I'm like, she probably doesn't know yet. You've had a couple days. what are you getting towards? How are you feeling? Are you excited, overwhelmed? Give us just a little overview of what the last few days have felt like and the emotions.
Yeah, I think emotionally there are so many emotions going through my head that I couldn't like nail just like one word. But yeah, I'm mostly relieved. I feel like when I crossed the line, I was like, oh, okay, the hardest part is kind of over. I feel like it's very easy at champs to, anything can happen. So I just wanted to get through as safely as possible, and I just knew I was going to make this team. I just was very surprised the way that it turned out. So yeah.
Walk us through that race. I mean, you won it in such dominant fashion, so as much detail as you want or as little, but walk us through from the gun went off till you broke that tape, and you broke that tape like, yeah, suck it.
Yeah. I'm usually not like that.
Loved it. Did we not love that? You earned that. You were like, yes.
Yeah, so yeah, when the gun went off, I was like, well, whatever happens, this is it. I wanted to be proud of myself regardless. I was like, I'm just gonna do my best, and it goes by quick. It's just like 2 minutes or faster. So I was like, I can be focused for 2 minutes or less. So yeah, I got out, was, luckily had a clean path in during the cut in. And then, yeah, I felt like I had blinders the entire time. Like I was just in the secret place. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna just keep looking ahead and just run as fast as I can. And I felt really good through 400, and I kind of wanted to take it, but I was like, I've never done that before. That'd be crazy. So I'll just wait. And then I felt the same at 300, and I was like, like I can kick, I can wait until like 100. And then at 250, I was like, whatever. Like we'll see what happens. And yeah, and it worked out. So.
I mean, it more than worked out. You won by a lot. I just want to say.
Okay, I feel like I have so many questions, but there's definitely a persona of Nia on the track where you're just like this assassin, right? Like you put on the mask and you have the blinders on. It's like, I don't care. I'm going to eat some souls and then I'm going to break this tape, like Kara said. But you're this like very calm, quiet, not quiet, but just a very calm, soothing person. Tell us a little bit about what you do off the track to just stay so even keeled. I know you have some music that you're into, and you got to tell us about your cat. You got to tell them about your cat.
Thank you. That was really nice. I like being an assassin, but also being calm.
You make it work, and I feel like it is like you're a performer, right? Like you get on that stage and you're okay. I'm here to do something different. So yeah, just tell us about the other side of Nia that isn't going to crush souls.
Yeah, yeah, it's funny. I feel like I just have a really like deadpan expression sometimes, especially going into races and when I have my headphones on. This meet was a little different. I was like playing the same like worship track over for the final just because I like really wanted to be as peaceful as possible. But it's usually Christmas trap music that's playing in my ears. It's like jingle bells, but then there's like drops in the middle of it. So I think it's really funny when people are like looking at me like with like a face of intimidation. I'm like, they have no idea what's in my ears right now. But yeah, it's funny to me. But yeah, I brought my cat and my guitar because yeah, I just wanted all of the therapeutic things with me. And yeah, she's been really thriving in the hotel, honestly. I've been making steak on my pancake maker, but then it like smells really bad in my room when I'm trying to go to bed. So I like open the door, and she's not like super like adventurous. She doesn't like to explore at all. She just like went out the door and was just walking down the hallway and was like saying hi to other runners and stuff. So she's really enjoying it. And yeah, the guitar, I love playing the guitar. I brought it with me. I've been writing some songs since I've been here, which this is like my first meet where I've been like writing and racing at the same time. But I think I just like really needed something else to do and think about. So yeah.
Do you feel like you've nailed any bangers where you're like, this is going to be, because I just feel like the meshing of feelings in those songs must be amazing.
Yeah, I feel like I rarely write about track. Like I think like it's like my like go-to to like not think about track. Yeah. But this meet, I've written a lot of songs that have been really cheesy about track or about the experience or about the race and stuff. And yeah, I want to like, I'm working on like an album right now, and I might add some of them to the album. I might not. I don't know yet. We'll see.
Yeah, I have one last question for you. You fell 3 years ago. How did you stay? What has the last 3 years like been building back, staying patient? I mean, it's such an incredible story that you were able to hold all that emotion and everything to be in this final and to win. How did you get through that time?
Yeah, it really sucked. In 2021, I feel like there are a lot of parallels. Like I did not sleep an hour after the race this year, and same after 2021. I was just kind of like up, just like staring at the wall, like what just happened. But yeah, I think in 2021, I just felt like similar to now, like everything happens for a reason. I think all things will eventually, like, they work together for my good, like even the bad things, unfortunately, sometimes. And I feel like I don't know, I just felt like God wanted more for me than just like to race and you know, maybe PR, run sub 2 and like get 4th or 5th or something. I think it happening that way, I felt like, I think I realized just how close I was. That like really when you're in the final, like everybody has an equal shot at making that team. So I just like told myself then in 3 years, I'm going to race to win. I'm not just going to race to try and like make the team. Like I'm going to race to win the thing. And, you know, if I come in, you know, if I make the team, that's a bonus. You know, if I come in 4th or 5th, but I race to win, I'd be extremely proud of myself. So yeah, I think there's been a lot of growth in believing in myself to get to that point. And then obviously like talking to God and praying about it and being, you know, hitting with the spiritual bucket, and then talking to my coach, and we did literal exposure therapy. We raced at Eugene as much as possible, and Eugene is not the most exciting place to race, like, and all respectfully, like, it was
You
like,
can say
Daniel was like,
whatever you
LA
want.
or Eugene, and he's like, you need the exposure therapy, and I'm like, oh, but LA's home, and like, but you know, we did it, and it was for a reason, and yeah, like sports psych too, talking to my sports psych about it, and just a lot of talking through it. So, you know, when we got to the line, you know, it wouldn't be, the trauma wouldn't be there. If that makes sense. So yeah, and then I was in lane 8, so I was like, oh, thank you, thank you, Jesus.
Is that your good lane? Is that like your sweet spot?
Yeah, I think it's easier when you're in an outside lane to cut in. Yeah,
That's great. I mean, I think I loved what you said about having a shot to win, and now you're going to be off to Paris, wearing the USA with a shot to win. I'm going to ask the last question here, and then we're going to put you on the top 5 spot. So think of something that you like, and you can buy some time and think about it while you answer this question. You went through team processing, which we've talked about before, and like sometimes you're on the alternate side of it, sometimes you're in the team. It's a crazy experience. What's your favorite piece of kit, gear, whatever that you saw in team processing that you are stoked to have?
yeah. There's a singlet that's just like this really bright blue, and it just has USA on it. And I like the like onesie. They have like, you know, the controversial one, and then they also have like they also have like the shorts, like the normal like onesie with like the boy shorts option. And I thought I was gonna do that one, but then I don't know, I really like the blue singlet, and it's just like really classic. So I think I'm really excited to probably wear that one the most. Yeah.
Love it. Did you get your ring? Did you get your watch? Have you done all
I
that?
did. I got my ring. I ordered it and everything, so I'm excited. Yeah.
Awesome. We're stoked to see you in all the USA gear, repping the country, doing what you do. Nia Akins.
Thank you.
Okay. Shoot. Okay, I guess I'm up for the top 5. Let me see. Well, I'm going to go with this amazing space that we have, which is super cool. We're so lucky to have a live audience. This has been done up way too much for us.
But we're really trying to make it happen, make it exciting. So thank you to Runnerspace. The balloons are popping. Yeah, so this is my number 2 on the top 5. Kara, you're up.
Okay, I'm just gonna go with the support of the pod. Like this week, we just did 1 episode, and there's a lot of other people doing multiple episodes. There's a lot of other sports in the world, and yet we hit the charts. So we really, really appreciate all the support because we're having fun, and we love that you guys are having fun with us.
Thank you all so much.
I'm gonna go with. I'm really happy that I was first session. So now I get to just like watch track, be on this boat with you guys, and like chill and have fun. Get crepes at the farmers market, and yeah, and be an Olympian. Yeah.
Yeah, special one. Okay. Jordan, I think she had to leave, but she stayed in line yesterday. I don't even know how to say it to get a picture of us. And it's ridiculous. It doesn't look like either of us. And if you saw us having people attack her, you guys are looking at this picture. So we're going to go to Nia and ask her who's who in this photo. Oh. Take your time. Look at that.
Well, are you in front?
Oh,
No.
I wish.
Des is that you? Well, folks, that goes to show you.
If you guys are waiting in line, just know it's not going to look exactly like you. This is Des here. I know you can't see it. We'll post a picture. And this is me. I'm not sure. I think it's
Kind of different cheekbones, though.
yeah. Big. Okay. This is just kind of fun. We love our listeners and people, and this is quite the gift. It won't go in the Nobody Asked Us Hall of Fame.
I look great. This might be my profile photo.
You do look good. All right, well, I'm going to let Des close this out, but I'm just going to say, again, thank you, Brooks, for coming on a long-term relationship with us. Thank you all for coming out here. And thank you for being here and just supporting the athletes. Like, trust me, I'm on the other side of this, but it means so much when you step into that stadium and you hear all the cheering and you hear the excitement. It just makes all the difference in the world. This is such a different Olympic experience than the last team, and it's so cool to see people coming in and supporting everybody. So thank you so much, and but don't clap yet. Let Des talk.
That was it. She nailed it. Thank you so much. Let's get some fireworks. Let's get some music. Pew, 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 pew. Ba, 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 ba.